Oh, California, you are so funny sometimes. The littlest of things become the biggest of things. Recently, I got a check from a class action lawsuit from Starbucks. So, Starbucks settled in the case Carrington versus the Starbucks Corporation, and they settled on a labor lawsuit, apparently, where employees or partners, as we call them at Starbucks, were working over 5 hours. So in California, you can work up to 5 hours before you have to take a lunch break. And the lawsuit happened because it was deemed by Starbucks that if you worked slightly more than 5 hours by your fault and not by management decision, that you weren't awarded a meal break, which is a paid hour for not taking your lunch within the allotted time. So if you work 5 hours, you go over 5 hours and don't take a lunch, Starbucks has to pay you for a full hour and you still have to take lunch. Now, this all happened because partners were working slightly more, which is one of the statements in the lawsuit, on their own, by their own fault, essentially. So they could have clocked in, say, 2 minutes early and stayed 2 minutes late, so it was only 4 minutes over, and then Starbucks didn't pay them the meal break violation because it was essentially their fault that they went over and not management decision for them to go over. So in the case Carrington versus Starbucks, there was a class action lawsuit, and apparently they probably went back in all of our time punches or whatever. I don't know for how long they went back. And they mailed out everyone a check, which is pretty cool. It's always nice to get a check in the mail. What is funny, though, is my check here is for $1.25. So you can see up here, Carrington versus Starbucks Corporation, to me, $1.25. Sign down here. I don't know what this number means, but it doesn't seem like very much, especially for a big lawsuit. And I don't know how they determined how much you made, but I've definitely gone over 5 hours, and I've definitely not paid myself a meal break violation, and I don't really care, and it's not really that big a deal anymore because my last day is coming up. But it's rather odd, $1.25. You would think even if they went back, they would have had to pay at least everyone an hour because that was the penalty, an hour meal break. So $1.25 hardly seems worth it, and it seems like they probably incurred a lot of lawyer fees, and none of this was worth it at all. But that's California labor law for you. So if you have to work over 5 hours, make sure you're getting paid properly because they will sue you and you will get a check for a measly $1.25. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.